You know, people don't ask, are people happy? I'm happy. I never ask somebody what they do. I'll say, are you happy? Right? Like, you're just happy. No one asks that question. And I'm happy. Like, life is good. Like, I'm blessed. So why can't more people have a blessed life? Why not me? You hear me give that speech all the time. Why not me?
Yes.
We make our own hells. We make our own reasons to why we can't do things.
Welcome to the Koolers Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kuehlhorn, and I'm excited to have you join me as I interview community members and business leaders from the communities in which I live, work, and serve through my business Kooler Garage Doors. We're going to bring you highlights on characters in our communities. Why? Because community matters, and I want to know more about who is behind our business and leadership in order to understand and support the community fabric that our relationships make up. And collectively, we can build stronger communities that support our lifestyles, our youth, and our health. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Koolers Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kuehlhorn. Today, I'm sitting down with a real force, Lance Bachmann, LB Capital. I'm really excited to have these conversations with you, Lance, and I know we're going to dip and dive in all different directions. I appreciate your time.
Hey, thanks for having me on your podcast. I appreciate it. I'm a fan. I listen to them. You got a lot of good stuff, and I love how you try to affect change in people's lives.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. All right, for the listeners, you're beaming in from outside of Philadelphia. And
right inside Bucks County, Philadelphia.
Yeah, right on. Where'd you grow up, man?
I grew up in Northeast Philadelphia and then Council Rock. I went to Council Rock in the suburbs, a wealthy school.
Right on. What was growing up like for you? What were you into?
I was poor. I was in and out of group homes, foster care, in trouble, wrestled, played a little bit of soccer, tried to play football. You know, not the typical childhood, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I went through what I went through.
No, I get that. What's the little bit of a story? So, I got introduced to you about a year ago as you stood on stage with Vertical Track. You were at that time running One SEO. It seems like maybe you have had an exit from One SEO, but what's a little bit of story? How did that develop for you?
So, in and out of trouble, kind of figured it out when I was about 21, started selling the phone book. Jeff Cartwright hired me, great guy, mentor, still friends today. Bill Cormier, loved the phone book. Phone book was more powerful than Google. Most powerful tool I've ever seen in my life was the phone book for advertising. Now it's garbage, but hey, listen, it was a great book back then.
Yeah.
Things changed, evolved. They didn't. I left there, started doing yellowpages.com. Grew that to 159 million, 900 employees worked for me, and I started One SEO. As my confidence grew, I love One SEO. I think it's the best digital agency still in the country. I don't own it. Like you said, I exited, I sold. Most people don't know that. Why I owned One SEO, I bought multiple home service-based businesses, and they just kept growing and growing. And really all I did was implement what I learned from Geiger, Tommy Mello, all these guys that just let me into their shops.
Yeah.
And I'd always just rinse and repeat what they did. Went right to service tighten. Went right to answer the phone, book rate, call rate, systems. What's our sales? What's our average ticket? The playbook they gave me is the same playbook I use. And not all different. There's some tweaking I took from different people, but I see it looks like Dan Antonelli did your brand, it looked like.
Yeah, that's right, man. I'm taking their playbook too.
I take Dan Antonelli's brand playbook. So, it's really, there's nothing authentic about Lance Bachmann except for one thing. I see success, monkey see, monkey do. It's not that hard. There's nothing that authentic about me.
Yeah.
No, I love One SEO, and I'm known for that, and I exited that about 90 days ago, knowing that I was going more into roofing, HVAC, painting, power wash, and I'm going to help change the home service industry also. I want to serve and give back.
Yeah, and that's the piece that gets me really excited. The mindset you have around serve and give back. Has that been a part of you since childhood?
I had a different childhood. I don't think I could have gave anything back because I had nothing to give. Makes sense?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about financially, probably emotional. I had low self-esteem. I think it came, I have such grace in my life now, right? I never have to work again if I don't want to.
Yeah.
My children never have to work if they don't want. So I'm so grateful. I want to help change as many lives as possible. People don't ask, are people happy? I'm happy. I never ask somebody what they do. I'll say, are you happy? Right? Like, you're just happy. No one asks that question. And I'm happy. Like, life is good. Like, I'm blessed. So why can't more people have a blessed life? Why not me? You hear me give that speech all the time. Why not me?
Yes.
We make our own hells. We make our own reasons to why we can't do things. I had a partner, I'm not going to say, but he sold low ticket item, let's just say. And he's like, it's not even worth selling. But as soon as you weren't partners, he hired more people. No, his mindset was, it isn't worth splitting the money with someone. But that's the wrong mindset. I'd rather split the money with someone and double up, triple up, quadruple my money. Makes sense. There's long-term versus short-term gains in everything.
Yes. Yeah, I think
I want to get back. I just want to get back. I want to make as many multi-millionaires as I can across this country.
Beautiful, man. So that mindset, you mentioned like childhood, having insecurity. How does somebody listening right now begin to shift out of a mindset of insecurity and get the mindset of a lion, if you will, somebody that's there for others, taking, giving, serving, and growing? How does that shift happen?
Drop everyone around you. Anyone around, drop everyone. I don't say that rudely or meanly.
Drop it's your network.
Because it is your network. And I'm not saying you can't have friends. Someone texted me the other day, I know you don't want to hang out no more. I know you think I'm a loser. I listen to your podcast. I listen to all these podcasts. I don't think you're a loser. You're one of my best friends for 15 years, brother. One of my best friends. I love you. If you want to come to my house, swim, eat, hang out with my kids, I'm in. But I'm not going to a bar, sitting around talking about the glory days. I don't have fucking time. I don't care.
Yeah.
Makes sense? I'm hanging out with winners. And the problem is, they don't want to hang out with me. They say they do, but they don't want to talk about business. They don't want to talk about money. They don't want to talk about growth. They don't want to talk about buying real estate. All these things that are just wishes to them that I'm doing.
Yes.
Right? So mindset. Don't hold on to what you have, because if you're holding on to what you have, you can't grab what you want. And the majority of people around you, and you know this, you're on your own business, you went through your story. The people around you, the majority of them don't care, including family members. They say they want you successful, just not more successful than them, right? Because jealousy is a mean, eager, nasty thing, right? And people want you to need them, which is sad. I don't want anyone to need me. I don't want my own children to need me. I want my children to want me. I want my wife not to need me, but to want me. The day we got married, me and my wife, we had the ironclad prenup. I have no problem saying that. My house was paid off. We came back from being married. I literally put my house in my wife's name. I said, I want you to want me. If you don't feel like you want me, I'm not holding a gun to your head. You can have the house. I'll leave.
Yes.
That's my mindset.
Yes.
I want you to have a relationship with me. If you don't, fine.
Yes.
I would have said, everyone with low self-esteem, change your circle, get around, start taking small little actions, and watch your confidence build. And what happens is the people that don't really succeed, they're going to start saying things to you. But just know in the back of your mind where you're going and keep going. And don't let anyone break your focus.
Yeah, I'm hearing a couple of things in there. One is the compelling future, right? Having somewhere that we need to go and having some urgency to that, so we don't have time for the distractions. Right?
Hey everybody, this is Luke from Koolers Garage Doors. Just want to take a quick second to talk about our sponsor, Sommar Garage Door Openers. We believe Sommars are the best in the business when it comes to garage door openers. We always recommend them for residential installs because of the many features they have, such as Wi-Fi connectivity and safety features like a fixed chain that runs along a secure rail for a quiet and safe operation. Click the link to find out more about Sommar Garage Door Openers.
I had distractions my first 6, 7, 8 years in business. I remember going to Vegas with people having $10,000 bills that don't even hang out with me no more. They don't even call me anymore. One or two of them might. 10,000, paying for trips for people. They don't even call you anymore. Now, they'll say I'm the problem. Now, I stopped picking up your tab. I stopped paying for things. So that's why you don't hang. Listen, there's two sides to every story, and the truth's somewhere in between for a lot of things I tell people. You got to know where you're going to where you want to be. If people don't want to take that journey with you, you got to cut them off. The best example I ever heard someone say, rockets go up to the moon, right? And they're built together to get you to the moon. But when a rocket takes off, things fall off the rocket. They're just not meant for the full journey to the moon with you. Doesn't make them bad people. I love all the people. I've loved every partner that I've ever had. I'll buy them a beer, give them a drink. I love it. No hard feelings. I love their children. I love their families. It's our mindsets were just different. I knew what I wanted to do. And once I got the financial freedom to do it, I'm all in. I'm all in.
What a great analogy, man. The rocket. I'm going to carry that with me because that's so good. Things drop off.
That's just so true. Things just drop. Don't make it bad. People want to make it nasty. It's not nasty. Yeah. It's just, I'm going here. You're going there. There's nothing wrong with that. It's why there's a right and a left.
Yeah, we make meanings, and those meanings aren't always empowering. On the realm of partnership, so here's a nuts and bolts type of question, because partnerships on some level have some sexiness to them, and I'm certainly interested in the workings of them personally, but also I know some listeners probably are too, and I get that. Like, you make a bigger pie, so if you have a percentage of a larger pie, you actually have more abundance than if you did try to contain and you have a little tiny pie, but you got the whole thing. And so, nuts and bolts wise, partnerships, do they take a bunch of cash?
So this is it, right? It depends on, when people ask me that question, does it take a ton of cash? Partnerships work in a lot of different ways. Someone once said to me, the only reason why you have a partner is because you need a partner. And I started laughing. I don't need a partner. I have financial freedom now. I want partners now because I want to make them multi-millionaires. I think a lot of operators in home services never become multi-millionaires because of what you said, that ego of, this is my company, I'm the operator. When you're doing $1 million, $2 million, $3 million a year, you're really not a business owner. You are in theory, right? You're employing people, you're paying taxes, but you really built yourself a good job. You're making good money, right? Good job. When you pass that $10, $15, $20 million, now you're a business. And it's very hard to scale, as you know. To go from 2 to 10 is the hardest part to go. It's a lot easier to go from 10 to 50 than it is from 2 to 10, 3 to 10, 8 to 12. So, I mean, that's where, I think partnerships for people that have done it multiple times. I've exited now multiple times, multiple verticals to private equity. They're looking for the plug and play system. I mean, that's it. What people don't understand is, like, well, what makes me unique is I'm the best salesperson. I'm the owner. I'm like, that's the worst thing you could say. That's the worst thing you could say. Right. How do I scale you as the owner as the best salesperson? That's not scalable, right? So systems, processes, all those things. I love partnerships. I think bad people do bad things, right? So people say to me, well, partnerships end bad sometimes. They do. I've had partners that just end it, but they weren't bad people. It was just, it just, our visions changed, where we were going changed. It didn't make them right, me wrong. It didn't make me right and them wrong. It just means it wasn't us to take the journey together. And that's okay.
Yep.
That's okay. Yep. And listen, I say this to people all the time. I keep going and going and going. Some other partners are happy where they are. Not everybody wants to keep going. Some people want to stop, and that's okay. It's what you want out of life. So I'm about partnership. I think roll-ups partnerships are the smart way to do it. I think you get there a lot faster with great people together than you do by yourself.
Well said.
That's me.
Yeah. And I'm hearing that, some of the nuts and bolts in partnerships that work out, like maybe there's some values alignment, but more importantly, there's a target. Like, we're all going in this one direction. And if that shifts for any one person in that moment, fine. And yet there's still the clarity that you have, like that mindset of like, I'm going here, join me kind of deal.
Visions change. I say from true leaders, visions will change. Your vision will change. When I said I was going into the roofing, painting, and HVAC business, I didn't expect to see some of the things I saw. And I saw things that in corporate America, AT&T would never allow. I saw things at One SEO we would never allow. Give an example. I was buying a company. I called up Superior Supply Company. And I said, why is this guy spending $500,000 with you and he's getting no rebate whatsoever? And the guy started laughing. I had no clue who I was, and goes, because he didn't ask. and laughed.
Oh my gosh.
I said, what kind of partner is that? 5% of 500,000 is $25,000. That would have paid for half his CSR salary for the year, making your customer service experience better for him, being able to sell more of your product. That's a part. But you laughed at me and him. Now, this guy had no clue that I owned multiple roofing companies by this time, and that I sold one already to a private equity firm, which I got to be able to be an equity partner in that private equity firm, which is a $4 billion plus fund. Like, so he had no clue who he was speaking to, and he said, so cavalier. Now they're begging to come in here and meet with me, and I'm not letting them walk through my door. I'm like, you're going to give them a refund first before I take a meeting with you. Not because I'm some type of knight in shining armor. It's just do the right thing. These companies have done the wrong things for so long to these people. That's why really, Matt, what really made me say I'm all in on roofing, painting, power washing is I believe there's such an abundance that someone like me can give with my experience and serve. And I don't need to make any money from it. I'm going to make money because you're going to let me into your shop and understand the business better and doing what we're doing right now, communicating. Yeah. You're going to make money because I'm going to show you, hey, this is the business playbook with these people they call partners. I use the word vendors for right now, so they truly become partners.
Yes. I mean, what you're really...
So that's where I see it.
I love it. It's a great perspective. It's maturity, really, and it's win-win-wins. And going for creating as many wins across the board as possible. I mean, this is... I see it as new school, and maybe it's always, right? There's always going to be takers, there's always going to be givers, but the folks that come and create win-win-wins are the true winners. I mean, that's where true abundance gets created.
Yeah, and you feel great about yourself. I mean, I've changed people's lives by them partnering with me, and they're multi-millionaires. You don't have to worry about their kids' school, college. They paid off their homes. Do you know what kind of grace and joy and pleasure that gives me? It makes me feel like, and listen, I won too, right? I got money out of it too, but they know they would have never gotten there as fast. I never said they never would have gotten there, but as fast without the partnership and the relationship. And that's why I always say to people, that's why I jumped on a plane, go see Tom Howard's place. He was in my place. That's why I talk to everyone. Yeah. You know that. We go back and forth on Facebook. Yeah. I've never not answered messages. I've never not answered text messages. I just said to a person today on the phone, I said, why did you not answer that phone call? I asked him. I don't know who it is. Call my phone. I answer. And I said, listen, I'm in a meeting. Can you call me back? Like, that could be the next person that really, truly wants to make a difference. So I answer my phone. How hard is it to say, give me 30 seconds, I'll call you back and text me?
Yeah.
That's me.
I noted that one. I'm going to take that note. What would you say to the owner-operator who's listening right now that is thinking like, yeah, why not me? What would be like potential first steps out of the gate? Like we get some inspiration. They're like, yeah, I'm ready to take some action.
It depends. You know, the first thing I say to anyone is, you know, if you're an owner-operator and you're inspired, you can't do 10 things at once. When you hear me speak, Matt, you always hear me say, start with one thing. Take action on one thing. What's the biggest issue you see inside your organization? I will tell you this. It always starts with sales. Sure. If you can't sell, you do not have a company. People don't understand it. People are like, what do you mean? I'm not a salesperson. Someone says to me, I'm like, get away from me. Like I sold my wife to be with me. Yes. Makes sense? She sold me to be with her. I sell my kids every day, and that's the hardest job in the world, selling your kids. So it starts with sales. Once you get that kind of figured out, then you got to start going, okay, how do I feed the salespeople? So advertising is very big to me. And you gotta remember, I got nothing to sell. I don't own one SEO. Just because I think it's the best agency in the country, I don't care who you use, but you have to advertise.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
You have to advertise. Then it's systems, processes, and you work your way down to the final part of getting your whole entire check from your customer, right? So I have a very different philosophy. I'm very sales oriented. How can we move? We were in here before you. The phone ringing. Some of my companies went right to music, and I'm screaming, and Scott's looking at me like, I'm like, why the fuck are people going straight to music and not, hey, please hold, thank you for calling Dylan. Hey, please hold, thank you for calling Pups Painting. Please hold, thank you for calling Cherry Roofing. Yeah. Like, it should be an automatic. You know you're getting in touch with us if we can't answer by the third, fourth ring, that we're not making you wait. You're not going to an automated system. Because when you're calling me, most likely, you'll probably have a little stress attitude at that time. Who wants to go spend money on paint, HVAC, roofing, IT services? I sure as hell don't.
No.
Do you, Matt?
Not my first choices. That's right.
So that's where make it a frictionless environment, and you're going to just see everything grow.
So good. So good. I hope listeners took a bunch of notes there, Lance. What do you think is going to be your legacy?
The only thing my legacy is going to be is my family. That's it. That's all I worry about. Business is business. My family's my family's my legacy.
Okay.
My wife and my 4 sons, the only brother I talk to, the only sister I talk to, and some of the friends around me that I'm around. But yeah, my family, I want, when I'm on my deathbed, my legacy to say, my wife said, I know my husband wasn't perfect. I know he wasn't a flawless man, but he tried the best he could for our family. And I want my sons to say one thing: I know my dad loved me. My dad wasn't perfect, but I know my dad loved me. If I can get that from my sons and they tell me they're happy, I'll die happy, man.
Beautiful, man.
I don't need much.
Yeah.
I got more than I ever thought I'd have.
Yeah. I've got 2 final questions for you. One's kind of in the same thread because I think it's an interesting one. There's some pundits, if you will, that talks about life balance. But then I'm also interacting with some folks that are just truly obsessed over family, obsessed over business. Where do you fall in that line? Do you find balance? Is it an obsession?
I'm obsessed with winning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I can't explain it. I'm obsessed with winning. I hate losing. My one son hates losing. We try to work on that. I think it is a balancing act, but it isn't really a balancing act when you love both things. My wife would never ask, I don't have to work. My wife would never ask me not to work. My wife still packs my lunch every single day, right? Because she knows I want to run out that door and I want to attack the day. If I get 8 hours, 7 hours, 9 hours, whatever it is, she knows I want to attack the day, right? And then when I'm done, I want to attack it with my kids, whether it be wrestling practice, football practice. I coach my kids every single day, not every single day, but I coach my kids in all their sports. I travel with my kids multiple times a year. So I think it's a balancing act, but I think you have to be obsessed with both. I think you can be, right? And, I don't think you can be home every single night if you want to be a multi-millionaire with your kids when you come from nothing to build. I think you're going to have to sacrifice, right? But I'd say this: I have quality time with my children versus quantity time. I have quality time at work instead of for example, I say to my one son, Greggy Hammer, he kind of in practice, just doesn't pay attention. Like my one son, Sponge, wants to be there. You could tell he loves every moment. My other son kind of goes through the process, I call it, right? And I say, listen, son, you could practice for 20 years straight and never be good at something if you ain't in the practice, meaning if you don't want to be there, if you don't want to pay attention, if you don't want to learn, because that's the difference between someone being great and good.
Yes.
Is the practice. So I think you got both, Matt, to be honest with you. And I want both. I want to change as many people's lives as possible in business. I want to take as many people that were ever in recovery, in trouble, low self-esteem, operators that think they could have become multimillionaires, and I want to hand you that check. I want to take that journey with you. And it's not just about handing you a check from day one. It's about taking that journey, seeing your confidence grow, seeing you become a better leader, seeing you believe in yourself, and then you punch your Willy Wonka ticket and you become a multimillionaire. You change your family's life forever.
Changing trajectories, generations.
Absolutely.
It's awesome, man. What I'm hearing is just being obsessed with winning and defining that win in a multiple win scenario, like we talked about, the win-win-winning. Absolutely beautiful, inspiring. Lance, for anybody that wants to reach out, whether partners or just follow you, get to know you, where do we find you?
Here's my cell phone. I give it to everybody. 215-796-4393. It's my real cell phone. Comes right to me. I don't pull any punches. It's people are like, man, this is really you. I'm like, it's me. 215-796-4393. You can follow me on Instagram at Lance Bachmann. Follow me on Facebook at Lance Bachmann. I mean, I'm a pretty easy guy to get a hold of. Google Lance Bachmann. I mean, I don't hide. That's for sure.
I think for anybody that's just meeting you for the first time, and we're going to do our darndest to get this pushed out because I'd love the mission that you're on, man. And I want to support it any way I can. For the folks that are just meeting you for the first time, I mean, you're authentic as fuck. And I really appreciate that. You don't have a show to put on. You're just grounded. You're aiming for winning. So I just want to applaud you, acknowledge you on that. And man, I really appreciate the fire that you spit out today. There's a ton of value in this conversation. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your drive, man. Let's get it.
Thank you. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Love the show. Love you.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you, brother.
We'll talk to you soon, Lance. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to the Koolers Lifestyle Podcast. We count on your subscriptions, your likes, your shares, and I encourage you to do that now. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, lower right-hand button. If you're on audio, download this, share it, and we look forward to having you on the next one.